doors of the Love Church are now open. Dear world, you name it, we cover it from the world of singles to the behind the scenes of the greatest movie ever filmed, called Marriage. We dig into everything from dating 101. Why won't they commit? It's complicated. I can't do it if it's the three of us. They're a good person, but I'm not attracted to them in that way. 2, they really didn't disclose who they were before I said I do. How do I do this if they can't keep a job? The bills are paid, but the bedroom is suffering. Did I marry you or did I marry your family because we only can take care of us? Let's open up our marriage. Why do I have to buy into your beard gang illusion? You could have told me you were down low and we could have remained friends and not married. And last but not least, did you marry me or your pastor? Have we gotten your attention yet? If so, tune in to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio, Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you want to hear more of today's real issues in the world of love. The doors of the Love Church are now open.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Adam Ford. How are you, sir?
What's up, fam? I'm doing okay today. Doing okay. It's kind of a gray day here in Chicago. Kind of gray, kind of dreary. I'm like,
dreary. We'll call it a David Banner day. Ding, ding, ding. Like the Incredible Hulk. Ding, ding, ding. I always say when I used to look at the Incredible Hulk when I was a kid, I would be loving the show until it got to the end. Then I'm starting crying like, well, why you gotta go? Why he ain't got no house? Why they let him in the house? He could come save the day, then he walking down the street by himself.
Right, he always had to keep moving. He always had to keep moving. It's always so sad.
Man. He was homeless. That's the part they left out the whole thing. He was homeless.
Right.
Dang, man. So yeah, how's your week, man?
Not too bad. I look forward to the weekend. Got some things I want to get done. Got some working I need to do. Some preparing, some writing, some studying, and so yeah. Some relaxing in there somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But otherwise, we good. Looking forward to the. Getting close to the end of the year, getting ready,
closing things out.
Holiday time, Thanksgiving.
Time to spend money.
Time to spend money. How about that?
Yeah, time to spend money. There we go. Yeah, man. I mean, everything is everything. Like I said, this has been, funny enough. Last week I was under the weather, and I promise you, it lasted. That thing lasted through the whole week. I was like, man, it's still ain't totally out the water, but I was feeling good enough to move forward. So I didn't want to, let anything hinder us going forward. Yeah, but anyway, So, man, today's topic is a bit different than what we normally talk about sometimes, but it is nonetheless any less important. Matter of fact, in my opinion, it is like the running thing that's happening more and more today. The folks are tuning in. I see Miss Marlena came in. It looks like she has a tambourine, and Maritza. No, Maritza got her offering. Hey, Maritza. No, I'm just joking, but no. But anyway, appreciate you guys for tuning in. But no, today's topic, when I mentioned the roster, I'm talking about the mindset today of, I'm sorry, ladies. Once upon a time, we used to be able to say this was beholden to the men. Unfortunately, in today's society, the women have a roster too. All right, so it used to be the men. The men were, years ago, we were the ones that were either they were on the corner. You had your pimps. You had all these different things, and so everything was about somebody being cool enough to collect these women, right? And so nowadays, you have men who have opened up further this permission gate, as I call it, because now, as I always say, honesty has become the new deceit. And what we do now, as opposed to blatantly lie like we used to do, now it's just, I really like you, right? But I just want to deal with you like this, but I don't want no trouble because I do got this at home and I am dealing with this and that, but I like you and I want to spend time with you and I want to do whatever. And so it becomes those conversations that you hear where people will say, well, at least the person was honest. You know, it's still wrong, but they were honest, right? So this is happening on the male side as well as the women. Women may be a little less covert about it. Women are more so, you know, like I said, women get approached. Men, we may get approached, we may get looks, but we're the aggressor, right? Primarily, we the one, if we like it, we go after it. Women, on the other hand, they get approached by any and everybody. So you can see how easy it is to have your silent meetings where you might be like, hey, I have somebody, yes, or I'm married, or then it becomes the tricky business. Then it's like, well, I have a business, and if you can come in, I do this, you have a card, you know, or I'm on social media, look me up. See those small little things that can draw people in to start conversing and becoming a patron of sorts. And then next thing you know, you have a dinner, lunch, cocktails, and then the rest of the stuff is now you're a part of this person's life. Right. So this happens all the time. And so I'm only, the purpose of this show is to just bring like awareness to people. Like I know we're all grown and we know a lot of this stuff, but I really don't think we really grasp how wide open and deep this is nowadays. It's like nowadays you can bet on it that if you don't ask the necessary and concise questions, the average person you call yourself connecting to, liking, getting to date, going out with, you are a number. You are not a numero uno. You're not just the, you know, it's like even at the dating level, even at the dating level. Now, this might get a little hairy in opinion, but this is my opinion. If you're going to find someone to like them, to grow to like them to a space of serious exclusivity and beyond, somewhere along the line, the person has to feel a level of comfort enough with you to take that step. Okay. Nowadays, what we want to do, to me, I think it's virtually impossible to say we're single and we're dating and we're avidly dating 5 to 6 people. You're calling everybody, texting everybody, going out with everybody consistently. How do you scale back? But see, this is how crazy we are mentally. We expect all 5 people to give 110% while we're giving quarters, right? We're giving quarters emotionally, but we want the person, well, you know what? You're just not serious and showing enough interest. What do you mean? I'm not the only person you're seeing. So you can't expect me to give you 110% in return. It's just idiotic. But that's where we are today. And so I made the joke in the narrative that I have that you read in a second, where I said the thing that kept coming to mind is, you remember hearing that term when we were growing up, where it could have been at church, it could have been your parents telling you, but they'll always say there's safety in numbers. Okay. And so in today's culture, I believe because we're so battered, bruised, hurt, left, divorced, all of these things, betrayed, we have taken on the mindset that it is safer to carry numbers than to go and love alone. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's safer to have this pillow of options and you know, comfort all around us, either whether we take them really serious or not. We know that they're there. So if I fall or I bump myself up over here, somebody got me. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm okay. And so I saw this movie the other day, which I thought it was funny, but you know, I was taking all kind of mental notes throughout the movie. It was kind of ratchet, okay, I can admit. But anyway, in the movie, it was Tubi, by the way. But in the movie, there was this woman that was like young girl, kind of real promiscuous. She was around her family and friends, but she was messing with she had a dude.
Right.
She was living with a dude, but she was real kind of ungrateful because she thought she was the cat's business. So she was out, everybody, all the guys who wanted her, all of her friends and sisters and cousins, men were looking at her. So of course it came out that she had all of these behind the back affairs with a lot of them. So when it came down to it, the main guy that she lived with, he found out that she was out here being ratchet. So what he did was he said, you know what, I done financed you this car and all this stuff. He called up the car place and told, when she was gone for a couple of days, and told them to come get it.
Wow.
And he was even telling the guy on the phone, I know this is not normal, but he said, but I can't deal with the ungratefulness. Can you just come get this car? They came and got the car. So the girl, after she come back off of her hiatus of running and funning with her friends, she got back to the house to be like, let's get ready to go. And the car was gone. And so this is where it gets funny. The car was gone, and it was embarrassing for a minute to her with her friends. Yeah. And she was like, oh my, I can't believe, why did he do that? He's so petty. Then she said, hold on, y'all. She walked away, picked up her phone, and she was like, Big Mike, oh my God, I got a big problem. I really need you. And the guy was like, what's going on, mama? Blah, blah, blah. And so she was like, I don't have a vehicle. I need transportation to get back and forth to my job and things I got to do. Can you help me with getting me a vehicle? And I'm sitting here like, so Big Mike is off in the wings. So the dude got her a car. I'm just like, oh, the world is going to hell in the handbasket. Just forget about it. I was like, oh my. But anyway, the point I'm making is I'm just like, where we are today is, again, we are taking on subliminally. We may not be saying it out in the open, but in essence, we're saying there is safety in numbers, whether it is friends, whether I'm talking to a lot of them, but I'm not engaging, whether it is even when we commit, we hold on, we make excuses for friends. So yeah, I'll park it there and let you read the thing. We can go from there. I'm getting all carried away. Right.
I mean, yeah, you can keep on going for real though.
All right.
You don't need to read. What?
Oh gosh.
All right, here we go. All right. The roster. There's only room on my team, not in my heart. The divisive engine that powers this world's social climate of dating has presented us with quite a conundrum. Somewhere between the bag, the power, the sex, and the thirst for attention and endless affirmation lies the concept of there is safety in numbers, emotional safety, that is. We now offer potential suitors lifetime membership agreements to join our rosters and be benched for usage alongside our team options. In other words, those interested in relationships without walls are also known as no-label agreements. This lascivious style of living has ushered in the era of situationships, or it's complicated because of its less than traditional intent and nature. We have now reached a place of extreme choice as it pertains to our pathways to love and commitment. We either choose to be drafted or we choose to be respected. Yeah. What you gonna do?
Oh my! So, Mr. Ford, when you sit back and you think about a lot of this and a lot of what I ran off, what comes to mind when you think of this, I guess, drafted and team concept that's building today?
Well, what comes to mind is the fact that everybody need to have a Rolodex and they need to have their contacts updated as to what information they have out there, so that when it's your turn, you're ready to go. You're ready to roll.
I'm telling you, Maria, you heard what he said. Oh, no. Oh gosh.
I'm gonna pay for that later. I know.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, oh yeah, you need to have a Rolodex. Okay, Adam, okay. Oh Jesus,
man. So yeah, dude. Yeah, that's a lot. When you started explaining the fact that people have, several people that they're dealing with simultaneously.
For sure.
That just made me tired. It really did. It exhausted me because now you got to keep track of how many people you have, what you're doing with them, what's the relationship like with them. You got to keep track of all the little favorite stuff, their little pet peeves. You got to keep track of where they like to go, what they like to eat, what they like to wear, what they like to drive. You got to keep track of, where they work at, where their home life is.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And listen, I done said this before, and I will always go on record as saying this. I know I'm lazy. I know I'm lazy. I'm too lazy for all that. I am way too lazy for all that. Listen, I can't. I'm trying to keep the one that I got straight. Why would I need to add 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 other people into this list? No, man. I don't need that. I don't need. Listen. I don't need a rotation of people. Or as we've been coined and phrasing, insecure? I don't need a rotation. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about a rotation of people that we have to service our needs. I don't. Who wants that? I don't want that. Here's the thing, too. If I'm dealing with more than one person, like you said, Charles, that means I'm not giving you all of me. I'm only giving you a percentage of me. But here's the real question. How many of us have settled for just a percentage?
Wow.
How many of us have settled for less than what we're actually worth in terms of somebody spending actual time with us? And I find that a lot of us nowadays in today's society and in terms of dating and getting to know people, because of the fact that we are always preparing this contingency plan. This is where the rotation comes in. We don't want to ever run the risk of being alone. So, because we don't want a risk of ever being alone, what we do is we build up how many people we have on our team.
Wow.
Okay, so that way we always have somebody waiting in the wings, just like old girl was in the movie. She had Big Boy. She had him waiting in the wing, waiting in the wing. She had him waiting there. And so many of us have the same type of system, the same type of arrangement with others that we're connected to, that we only have them on our team because they're a part of our roster. They're a part of our rotation in order to service me. And here's the thing. This is such a singular, insular, individualistic, self-seeking interest type of situation that the only person that really benefits is the person that's using you.
Wow.
Or Charles, are you the user? Are you the one?
Because it's one or the other.
Come on.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
Either you on the team or you run the team. Which one is it? You the captain of the team? You got the rotation going? Talk to me.
And the sad thing is, as you were talking, it just brought back to mind that many people that are moving in this space, they're doing so because the reality of it for a lot of people is, even though they have this team and reservoir of options, that list of options actually balances out their self-esteem.
Okay.
It keeps them either confident or comfortable psychologically that they have these people that we don't realize. We don't think about this one key thing. Anybody that's willing to be an option to you is willing to be an option to another. Right. That's why when the automotive industry release all of these new vehicles and cars, well, guess what the irony of it all are? They all have various option packages within them. All of them. So it's not like somebody you thinking you are exclusive to something. Options are everywhere, right? And the same people that's quote unquote your option, that you, and the way we think in our mind is that option is exclusive to us.
Right.
Nobody who allows themselves to dangle in dead space is loyal to anybody.
True.
If they don't mind dangling, they're gonna dangle with you, and you. And you
Right.
sitting there with a false sense of security, thinking he or she thinking I can have another person in a minute, when really it's a millisecond.
Right.
You ain't got no minute, you ain't even really got that. But
Yeah.
we think it. So man, this is a way, like you said, we gotta learn to train our minds against it now. And I do know this one thing. Some people get tricked into teams. Some people are on teams whether they realize it or not. They don't even know it, but you're on a team, right? You thinking, I just care so much about you and I, and the other person can like you, but they're not as committed as you. They're just selfish to not let you know. And because they don't want to let you know, they go about life, living life to satisfy their needs, however that looks. And while you are solely focused on them, you know? Yeah.
So, and I kind of want to go back to this point because I want to make it very clear that when you are a part of a rotation, or even if you're running the rotation, the reality is that because you're giving of yourself, you're only able to give part of yourself because you have so many other people that are in line. Everybody wants their piece. Everybody wants their percentage. And so you can only give what you have. So you only have a small piece, that's all you have. But again, my thing is this: how many of us are settling for a small slice of the pie?
Wow.
And here's the thing, though, Charles, that kind of is crazy about this, that our society, or even past experiences and past relationships, have conditioned us so to the point where all we believe we can actually have is just a small piece of the pie.
That's it.
We don't actually believe that we can actually have the whole pie.
Wow.
And so as a result of that belief in our own mind, we settle for the roster. We settle for being on the rotation. That, it's my turn now. Now I get to, you know what I'm saying? Now we get to go out and we get to spend time together because now it's my turn and I'm on the roster and we only have 24 hours, so we got to make the most of the time that we have.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You gonna settle? So we just gonna settle for this? And you know how I like to go to this because back in the day, I used to listen to a lot of hip hop music or R&B or whatever like that. But you know, Teddy Riley and Guy had a song about this.
Yeah.
A piece of my love, right?
Love, that's it.
You can have a piece of my love because I got to give these other pieces to these other people that I'm also entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean,
and people will get an attitude when you question them about their position on it. Because to them, it's like, what you mean? You getting what you getting, aren't you? It's like, hush. Right. But you know what I always say? Many people, like I look at all the shows, like what's the show? I forget, Caught in the Act, the one with Tammy Roman. We got so many things now that we're televising about people coming to somebody to find out whether somebody's doing this or cheating. Please take your security crew and follow them.
Right.
Private investigators. Let me tell you the most bare minimum way to find out where you stand. And just like we're talking about, how many of us, when we go to the restaurant, and if all we were served is appetizers, you're being denied the main course. Yeah. And the appetizers may be good and tasty, but they're not going to fill you. Right. So I always say to yourself, when you're dealing with people, if you're connected to somebody emotionally and you're into them, you can feel when you're getting crumbs and when you're getting fed food. Right. You know the difference because you are left feeling always starving. So it's a question to say, wait, if you're feeding me this and I'm starving, where is the meal? Who's getting the meal? Because I'm not getting the meal. And if I'm cooking, because you got to live. So if you got to live, you're cooking the meal, but you're giving me a piece of the meal. So who's getting the whole dish? Meal?
Yeah.
So when you got to ask yourself that and be honest, a lot of times, unless there's a reason or a legit excuse, a lot of times that meal is being had elsewhere.
Right.
We're just not being honest about it, right?
Yeah. So the whole idea behind the appetizer is to, get you ready for the main meal. But because we've been so conditioned to believe that we can only have this small portion, that's all that we actually go for. So when it's actually time to get the actual full meal, we're no longer hungry for that. Yeah. And this is what I'm talking about. The fact that we have been so conditioned to believe that I can only have a small piece. That's all I can possibly have. I'm not, I can't have any more than this. Well, friend, brother, sister, that's only an appetizer. See, an appetizer is supposed to get you ready to eat the whole meal. But because you ate more than what you were supposed to eat. See, when I go to a restaurant and I eat an appetizer, I'll get a decent appetizer. I'll get an appetizer. And usually, my wife is with me. We're both eating whatever like that. And so I make sure that I only eat enough to satisfy that hunger at that point. But I know that my full meal is just around the corner. Okay, so I don't fully engage in the appetizer. Oh, yeah.
Good.
I don't fully engage in the appetizer. I eat a little bit because it's supposed to prepare my appetite. Hello, somebody.
Yeah, for the meal.
The whole meal, for the real meal.
Yeah.
We've taken the small piece and we've made it try to satisfy the encompassing hunger that we actually feel.
Wow.
But it was never meant for that purpose. Y'all don't like this today. I know y'all don't like this.
Yeah.
It was never meant for that purpose. Your rotation is not meant to satisfy you.
Wow.
It's not. That's why you keep going after all these other people. It was never, your rotation was never designed to satisfy you.
And you ever think about, like, anybody could ponder on this one thing. I don't care how, I've heard people say things like, friends that may have been honest about stepping out, and they may say something like, well, I only got to see the person for like a half an hour, but that was the best half an hour forever. Like saying whatever that end thing was. Right. And I'm saying to myself, you can say what you will. Mm-hmm. A piece is just a piece.
It's just a piece.
And it may be a momentous thought, but a piece is not satisfying.
It doesn't.
Holistically, it's not satisfying. I mean, a piece could be a piece, Bruce. Like, look, a piece is a piece, right? All right. But holistically, it is not going to do nothing for you. Right. And this is also why, to be honest, I would even venture to say, if I'm digging back in the trick bag, okay.
Oh, here we go.
All right. I would be honest to say, the reason people specializes in pieces is because they don't have to worry about taking a holistic brunt of anything.
Right.
I can handle the pieces. I can't handle the whole in that moment.
Okay.
If you're not ready to deal with the whole, you just want pieces. Right. It's not a person that specializes in pieces is not ready for the whole. I had to learn that, Adam, on tonight. A lot of times I would tell myself, I want the whole, and my life was filled with whole and halves.
Wow.
And I had to come to the reality that you're not ready for the whole because you can't let go of the halves.
Oh.
And so I had to say, you got to get to a point where where the halves are no longer desirable for you.
Yeah,
because the halves now I like to dine in appetizers, the soups, and the meal. Okay, maybe I'm greedy, but I had to learn, like you said, Adam. You gotta take your time with the meal, and you gotta eat accordingly to save space for what matters most, the main course. So I had to learn that, because over time, you fool yourself into thinking, I got the pieces, so I'm safe, and I want the love. That's what I saw growing up. So you try to have a little bit of both, but you're in denial of the dysfunction of it all. Because at the end of the day, it's idiotic to think you could find some peace in this.
Right.
Because I'm gonna tell you how psychological this can get. You can be sitting there. This is how, and they are. I don't care what. They are married people and the people in relationships that can be honest if they're honest. They're not going to say it. But here's the thing: you'll be laying in the bed with the main, worried about the half.
Wow.
You're in the bed with the main. I told them, let me know they made it home. You all this silly stuff, right? And it's only because you've allowed the halves in.
Right.
When you allow the halves in your spirit, they inhabitate.
Right.
And they levitate around your life.
Yeah.
And you may think you walk away for a minute and you're done for a season, and next thing you know, I want to see you, and where you at? You're going to try to satisfy the half.
Right.
So the point I'm making is you can't be serious nor ready for the holistic prize of love until you divorce the pieces.
Yeah.
You got to divorce the pieces. That's right, Bruce. So you got to, and so let me just say this though. Bruce brought up a great point, is I don't think I'm bringing this point out about the women because I want to make a key point. What's good, Mike? It's the key point.
Okay.
Women, if we are men and we're taking on women, like we're meeting someone and either we're trying to start a life with them or get married to them, whatever the case, you got to understand that this is what we underestimate about women.
Okay.
A woman can be ready at her mouth and say, I'm ready to go out. I'm ready to meet I'm ready for a new life.
Okay.
But she'll have her heart in 4 and 5 pieces with 4 and 5 different men. Because I'm not being funny, but you got to think of it like this. Women are the internal receivers. Men are the external givers.
Okay. We
give and leave. Women take and keep. So when women are dealing with different relationships or a man over here, ex-husband, this one, that, and the other, you really have to have a heart-to-heart conversation with a woman nowadays when you are meeting, because women can carry, like they do a child, they can carry the multitude of hurt and resentment and be sitting right in your face. They'll be carrying it. And you won't know none the wiser unless you are intelligent enough to ask the questions. True. And there's nothing wrong at all with saying, listen, would you, let's talk about history here. I've been with this, I've done this, that, and the other. So I know you've been divorced, or I know you just got a relationship 5 months ago, whatever the case is, or you had 1-2 years that you was engaged to, and we were living together, all these stories. You got to think in your mind, all of these people were inside, right? They've been inside, right? It's graphic, but it's true, right? They've been inside. So the point is, spiritually, your woman or person has been affected by other spirits. And you got to say to yourself, all right, let's talk. Have we dealt with this? What do you mean? Have you come to terms with the transition of these former lovers? Have you come to terms with it? And I say that because honestly, some of this, like I'm gonna tell you, I mean, I'm sure there are people who have other ways of doing it, but me having come up spiritually in a Christian household, to me, you have to repent away spirits. If you don't come to terms and actually speak on it and be like, I know I did these things, right? I had these things, but I want to have them divorced from me. I don't want to carry on in life thinking about him when I see something on TV or when I hear a song, or thinking about them when I'm unhappy in my relationship.
Right.
These thoughts and feelings come from undone emotions.
Okay.
Things that we carry, soul ties, anything that ties can be unraveled and cut. We just have to know how to do it. It doesn't, just because something is tied don't mean this. We wear tie our shoes all day long, but if you run a good run long enough, you're gonna look down and you got to tie them up again or leave them unlaced. So some of us need to be unlaced. It's selfish to start dating, to be engaged, to be exclusive, to be married to someone, but not be free of your ties.
Mm-hmm.
It's selfish to take that along because ties will expose you, whether you wanted to know it or not. Because you know how they always say, hit dogs holler.
Right.
Well, guess what? Whenever somebody is carrying a tie of any type, somebody can deliver a message, drop off some mail, send a picture, send an email, send a text. And if that person is triggered by it, you know that the tie is still alive.
Yeah.
You only know where you are when the triggers come and you be like, oh man, that's so, you got to do better than that.
Right.
Like, you got to be at a different space. If not, these things are going to come and they're going to just be sitting there. And it's almost like you're marrying your partner and he's marrying you, but he also marrying them because they're in the house too. So not only am I loving and feeding you, I'm feeding them because you carrying them. So we got to learn to cut these things off. And this ain't a shot to women. It's just a realistic thing. Women are receivers. They as amazing as women are, they keep and they hold on and they dwell things. And so if you're not conscious of that as a woman, that you got to move that thing along, because if not, in relationships, in dealings, it becomes apparent to any smart man. He gonna pay attention to be like, you're still carrying person X or person XYZ.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So yeah,
I got you. So let me bring a little balance. Balance.
Come on.
That's what I do. I got to bring a little balance. So here.
All right.
So you're not wrong. But I want us to kind of like dig a little deeper and go a little further with this whole analogy. The reality is that as human beings, we all have the capacity to carry with us past experiences.
That's for sure.
Okay. And as a result of us because here, our memory works like that. Everybody's memories work. Now, some memories might not be as good as others. Okay, granted, that's me all day long. But there are some things that become imprinted upon us, memories that become engrafted to us that cause us. Okay, so we have a good experience. And as a result of that good experience, we remember that experience. It's either attached to a scent or a song or a certain time of the year. Those are the things that we remember. And so often when we get into new relationships, like Charles said, there are sometimes those things that trigger those memories to come rushing back. And as a result, now we have to grapple with it. And here's the problem with this. If you have not closed the chapter on that previous experience, when that memory is triggered and you remember those things, what ends up happening is you end up looking back at what used to be. You end up looking back at who you used to be with and who you used to be. And as a result of that, you romanticize what you had, not realizing or not even remembering at that point in time that there's a reason why you're not with the one that you used to be with. Because you've taken that one memory and you've made that memory so glorious, so magnificent that when something happens, you remember it and all you remember is the good part. You just remember the good part of it. You know what I'm saying? And I think everybody, and I need the women to chime in on the comments. I need y'all to come in here and chime in the comments, okay? I think everybody has had that moment.
For sure.
everybody has had that moment when you hear something, or you're going through something, or you smell something, or you're going somewhere, or it's a certain time of the year that
Yeah.
memory is triggered, and you remember that. Now, again, the
Yeah.
key to this is: are you stuck in the memory? Are you stuck in that part of that experience? And did you never move forward? Was there never closure in regards to what you experienced in your life? It's a reality for every person, man or woman. And yes, okay, yes, women are made to receive, blah, blah, blah. Got that. But again, men also have the same capacity. Let's not act like, come on, brothers, y'all got to be real with me. Let's not act like old girl didn't do something that reminded you of a previous girl that you were with before.
No, that's true. No, that's fact.
And here's the thing, though: the girl that you were with before broke your heart. That's why you're not with her anymore.
Oh yeah.
See, so the reality is we're all experiencing that same thing. Now, again, the issue is this: have you closed the chapter on that? Have you? Is that soul tie, Bruce? Is that soul tie disconnected? Is it broken? Am I no longer going to allow myself to live in the past like that? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to say. No, real quick. Let me shift it real quick.
No, you done start the fire down. Go ahead. No, I'm just
I'm going to shift it because here's the thing, and I want to segue into this. I want to work this in here. I think sometimes when we're dealing with things that have happened to us, particularly now that we have been conditioned, Charles, to only accept a portion of somebody's life. We have this whole rotation of people that we're dealing with simultaneously, all at the same time. What we end up doing is, to our own detriment, we end up missing out on the one person that actually is for us.
Wow.
You have multiple people. You have a plurality of people that you're dealing with on a simultaneous basis. You're going out with this one on Monday. Then you're going to see this one on Tuesday. Then you're going to catch up with this one on Wednesday. And on Thursday night, you're going to the club. Friday night, no matter where you might end up. Okay. But this is all a part of your rotation. And you're only able to give them a part of who you are. Well, in all of your doing in terms of dealing with all these different people at all these different various times, there might be one person that actually rides with you. But because you're entertaining all these other people, you miss it. You miss them because you can't see them because you're entertaining everybody else. You're looking at this one and you're hanging out with that one. You don't see them. You miss them. And I think I really want us to come to this point, is that in order for you to get with the person that you're with, or the person rather that you're supposed to be with, you're going to have to do some dismissing of some other people.
That's it.
You're going to have to do some releasing of your rotation. You're going to have to cut your team, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then we have to watch, like, again, I always bring up social media because that's the TV of that's the one channel that we all can't get away from, that we pick up our phones, we on TV, we watching TV of some sort of something programming us. Yeah. And if you think about the culture, the way the world is going at, and I'm thinking about what you're talking about when you mentioned about portions versus the main course, right? Yeah. If you think about the way society is now, it's going away from main courses, and it's promoting portion control. Okay. It's trying to tell you, eat a lot and eat little, and that's how you maintain and you keep the weight off. Now, mind you, weight puts you in mind of the partner, the whole meal, right? But the world is going in a direction to tell you, don't eat light and eat you can have as many meals in a day, just not a big one. Just eat these little small portions. Heck, they even delivering you food now, already prearranged meals that are portioned out. Right. So we are doing the same thing in real life. It's like in real life, we are thinking that we can be fulfilled and healthy off of portions of people, and not so much the holistic real person that we need. It's like here's another thing that kind of blew my mind when I thought about it. I was watching the sports channel the other day, looking at the announcements and things like that, and I heard them repeat, "Oh, I want to know what these teams are going to do by the trade deadline." Now, I thought about this, and this blew my mind. The NBA and the NFL, when we all get excited, let's picture it like this for a minute. Take the picture I'm going to draw for a second. NFL, NBA, their season starts. When the season starts, let's liken that to, like when regular season start, let's liken that to the relationship being established, a new relationship. You're moving on. Now, the way the NBA and the NFL is wired, that maybe 9 games into the season, or at least for football, they have what they refer to as a trade clause deadline.
Right.
What that means, and this is what blew my mind, is basically if we compare the relationship to the football team, what they're saying is if we find on our team that we have underperformers or people who didn't necessarily pan out like we thought, that's the time to come together with management and say, maybe we can trade Adam over to Baltimore. Just give you an example. Now you said, but wait, I signed up to love you here, but you're now wanting to trade me just like that. And so this culture in sports nowadays is where I come from. The whole team concept and drafting is nowadays there is any more loyalty. Like back in the day, there was trades that occurred, but it was kind of went way under the radar because the teams were so committed to who they were. Like the Redskins loved the Redskins, the Steelers, whoever was on their team, they wanted to go their careers with these people. Nowadays, it's whoever is offering me the better check. I will leave this new team if you're going to pay me more. It's a different consideration happening now. And I think it has set a precedent where that's why the league is so unstable, is because nothing is still. It is in the world of relationships. It's unstable because nothing is still. Everybody is moving around to the highest bidder. This person treat me better, got a better this, that. Oh, I get more over there, so I'm going over here. And then I'm still going to keep my team. So that's where we at. That's where we at, man.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up, man. And again, I got to go back to the point about the fact that, because we live where we live, how we live, and the time that we live, that we have, again, I think we have been conditioned to just accept pieces.
That's it.
That's it. And we really have to recondition how we think about the relationships that we're in, whether or not if we're going to continue to accommodate pieces. And here's the thing, though, y'all. Here's the thing, though. And this is going to make you look introspectively. And that is the fact that you go after what you think you really want, which is the peace. But the reality is the reason why you don't really go after the whole like you should is because you're not whole.
Yeah.
So I can't deal with somebody else who's whole because I'm in pieces.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'm in pieces. How do I deal with somebody who's whole? And that's what you really got to deal with this. The fact that because of the fact that I'm not going after holes, that I'm I didn't mean for it to come out like that, but it did. You have to go after people who are whole, not in pieces, not broken, not splintered, not shattered, not fractured. Whole people attract other whole people. But fractured and broken and people that are in pieces, well, they attract fractured and broken and people that are in pieces as well. And so now you got to think differently about yourself. Am I a whole person? Come on, let's deal with it. Let's deal with that reality. So that way I don't end up on somebody's rotation because they think I'm a piece.
Mm.
Lord have mercy. They think I'm a piece. That's why I'm on this rotation. That's
Yeah,
why I'm
yeah.
on this roster, because they think I'm a piece. But you
Wow.
acting like a piece.
Wow.
You conducting yourself like a piece. You're
Piece.
behaving
Like a piece. And I think we don't be honest enough with ourselves. Like you said, here's the irony. The way the world is moving now, if you think about pieces of anything, the first thing comes to mind is a jagged edge. And some of us like to be poked. We just don't want to be honest. We like the aggressive edge of a piece.
Yeah.
Pieces poke. Whole stuff make you comfortable and tired and relaxed, right? So you have to learn, and this is something I don't want to get into this now. I'll deal with this in another show.
Oh Lord.
But we have to learn in relationships to be the whole and the half. There is a way to be the whole and the half, and we have to stop making. And I'll just introduce this really quick, and we're going from here. This is the concept I think about this. If you think about any relationship, any marriage, or whatever, when people start out in love and, oh, this is my boo, and however you entreat one another along the way, we become accustomed to that. But you ever notice how when whoever gets big and bad enough to step out, now when you're stepping out, you become an entirely different person to the street. The person at home don't recognize you because now you're putting on a whole mask that you don't even show me. And this is where we go wrong. The thing is, no one else outside of a covenant, committed, whatever that is, should see something different than what's at home. And the problem is we fake it. We often fake it in these relationships and marriages because we withhold who we really can be. And this person doesn't show up until it's time to be sneaky. And now we want to listen. I want to see the devil too. Don't just show them the devil. Show me the devil. I'm just making an example of what I'm saying. Don't just show the devil to the street. Show the devil to me. Because sometimes the devil just might keep this together in the interim, right? Don't just go out there and think you just showing the street the devil and the devil side of you, and oh, I got my stilettos on and I'm half dressed and I'm coming out at 3 o'clock in the morning. How you know I don't like that? So my point is, we gotta be smart with this, right? We always giving the wrong people the right stuff. So if you got a spouse, if you have a person, don't fake and be lazy loving. If you got that edge in you, show the person the edge. The problem is we get too comfortable. And when we get too comfortable, it just becomes, oh, that's just my person. They all right. I can just feed them a little bit of that and they okay. No, they not. People today will slide left and swipe left real quick if you're not handling your business. So you gotta be smart about that. Even in your whole family will crumble down just because you chose to show the street who you are rather than your person. Yeah. So,
and I think a part of that, has to do with the fact that, like we're talking about, being in somebody's rotation and giving portions or percentages or pieces of ourselves. That if you're not going to do it 100%, if you're not going to give all of yourself into this relationship, and see, because I'm the type of person that I'm gonna give it all. I'm not gonna save nothing for later. I'm going to give it all. I don't have contingency plans. I don't have other arrangements. What it is today is what it is, and I'm going to give all of it. And I need my person to give all of what they're going to give. Which means, I'm on you different. I ain't gonna say the devil. I'm gonna say if there's a freaky side of you,
show it.
But in order for that to happen, we have to have a place within our relationship where you feel like you can
safe space. But that's fine. But the point is, think about it. I was thinking, it's just me. Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah,
But if I'm not going to marry somebody, if I'm not willing to show it all, otherwise I'm going to stay like I am. So
yeah, that's
why
what I'm saying.
marry that person
100.
if you're going to be wearing this mask?
Yeah,
Especially an intimate mask. That's the
Yeah.
worst mask to wear, right? It's like if you're going to wear, don't wear no intimate one. Take it off. But I'm just joking. But anyway, so my point is, we gotta be honest, man. It's like we, again, I think about that, how deep that is. How I think about the countless times people in the street will come back and tell people that's married about their person. Oh, you don't, honey, trust me. You have no idea. You mean to tell me I don't have no idea that I'm the husband or I'm the wife?
Right.
Why don't I have an idea of the extent that my person will go to intimately?
Yeah.
So that's where we get. That's why, to me, that's why cheating occurs. It's because we are fake in our intimacy, and if you don't show the person the holistic through and through, if you can't do it in marriage, where can you do it? I could even understand in a relationship, you're not married, you're trying to hold whatever. But in marriage, if you can't you can't give your person all of it, then why even do it? Do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. So
I know. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I just think I'd be willing to bet you if we did an experiment, if people started showing the person at home what they show the person at the hotel, the marriage will last. I guarantee it. Right. Stop showing the hotel more than you show the home.
Right.
And then we don't have problems. Yeah.
Right. And I think that is predicated upon whether or not I'm giving you all of me.
Ooh.
And I really think that's when it comes down to that, again, okay, if I don't want to miss the person who's for me, and they are a whole person, I'm a whole person. Well, if I'm a whole person, they're a whole person, I'm going to give all that I got. That includes every aspect of who I am. And I think sometimes what happens with marriages, we only marry when we see certain aspects of a person. Yeah. But we haven't married the whole person. We only marry that piece of that person, that aspect of them that made us feel what we felt. But the reality is that if I'm in it, then I'm all the way in it. I'm not just going to just be a part of this in terms of you just giving me you. No, when I'm in it the whole way. Emotions, mentally, spiritually, financially, you know what I'm saying? However we need to do whatever we need to do, I'm all the way in it. And again, like I said before, because of the fact that we have been conditioned in our lives to only be able to recognize pieces, whenever a whole shows up, we don't recognize the whole.
That's it.
Because we're not accustomed to seeing somebody whole.
That's it.
So you at some point in time, you got to reject the pieces. Say, nope, I'm not doing the pieces no more. I don't want just a piece. I don't want just a piece anymore. And I think when you get to that point, you're setting yourself up to be able to receive the whole like you should. And so now you don't have to do a part-time schedule on somebody's rotation.
Wow.
You can get the whole,
Yeah. And if you don't want to, like you said, when I was talking about these draft and trade deadlines, there's a caveat to the trade deadline. The people that are able to be traded are the people who have those opt-out clauses in their contracts. Do away with the opt-out and you do away with the trading.
No
That's how you stay off the radar of the trades. Stop coming out and telling people, well, I just got friends. I'm not, it's not nothing deep. It is deep if you're intimate. You with them. The other person think 9 times out of 10, they think that that there's something deep. You don't think it is, but they do. So we set our own selves up by these introductions that we make, and when we downplay who we really are and where we really are in our relationship stratosphere. So the other person is, so I can go ahead on, you put your number in my phone then, and now here we go, and now here goes step one to somebody's team. Right. So we got to be smarter about the way we go about this.
Yeah, and again, the whole idea of it being something being optional. That's a choice that you can make. But as far as I'm concerned, when I'm in my relationships, I don't come in with options as if to say, well, if you don't do what I want you to do, then I'm gonna go over here for another option. For me personally, it's my own personal thing. When I'm in, I'm in.
Yeah.
I haven't set up some type of, contingency plan in terms of going somewhere else and it just in case things don't work out the way that I wanted to work out or whatever like that. Nah, I'm not doing that. No, you stuck.
Yeah.
You stuck with me. So deal with it. Let's go.
Wow.
Shoot. Yeah.
Man, this is good. This was a good show, And we just have to. All I'm saying, y'all, is now I don't want this industry to come after me. But anyway,
it's coming.
Here's the thing. Most people nowadays, the number one means of engagement to try and look for somebody, meet somebody, promote themselves is either online dating or opening up your DMs in social media, right? One of the two. That's we don't. Now people still go to events and they try to hang out places and meet people, but most of the meeting is done online. And then you meet in person after the fact. But the point I'm saying is, we right there, to be honest, a lot of these things, while yes, they're becoming the means of people meeting each other. But to be honest, like I said in the write-up, the powers that be, in my opinion, are creating a 4-way traffic jam because these sites, they don't encourage anything but getting you back to the crossroads. It's like you think about it. We don't even do good. Think about that person that's coming into the restaurant where they're trying to be concerned about their portion and weight management, but they're walking inside of a smorgasbord full of great food. Right. Where you pay one fee and you got access to everything. All of it. Right. Most people don't do well with that kind of discipline.
That's true.
So when you figure you online somewhere, you can lie to yourself all you like. But we develop terrible habits. You go on there, you meet somebody, okay, you isolate and deal with them, but then you still check your messages, and then you don't get rid of your contract. So forever and ever, you are surfing while dating, surfing while in a relationship, checking messages still while in a relationship, and you're not being true to yourself or the people. Yeah. So these things to me cause us to end right back up it sets us up to crash. I mean, I'm not saying some things good don't come from it, because it does. Right. It depends on the individuals and your mindset and what you're really looking for. But for the greater masses of it, just to be quite blunt, these sites are promoting people getting ran to, through, and fro. That's what's happening. People are meeting grown folks up in sex. I like this person for 2 days and then I blocked them, but you had sex. So sex. So at the end of the day, what is that helping you to get all of that interaction? Men too. It ain't helping us mentally to keep doing all this dipping. That's making to men, to be honest, I think if you want to get a quick road to schizophrenia, keep on dipping. Because you're going to find yourself into some confusion. But I'm telling you, we got to manage that, because that's what's messing us up. These outlets that we think are, let me look my best life and go on here and present myself. And all you are doing is getting on the devil's target board, on his goal. What's them things people have, them goal parties? I forgot what they call them. It's like they're called something. Vision boards.
Vision boards. Oh God.
The enemy has a vision board full of people just under siege of what's really happening and blinded. And he just looking at you saying, so you coming on here, huh? I got you. So you gotta be careful, man, because this stuff is set up to trip us up, lock your minds up, and discourage you, and just render you'll be useless to loving somebody whole, but you'll only be worth pieces, and nobody wants to deal with that.
Right.
All right. So thank you guys for tuning in again today. And as we had Mr. Ford, he gave us the voice of reason today. You know, as he said, he used to balance Maria to hear what he said. But anyway,
she about to come down there. Don't even worry about it. She at the door right now.
We appreciate you guys tuning in to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. And like you said, as usual, we are here every Thursday, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Always a pleasure having you guys come in and support. We appreciate it. And as usual, please like and share. Again, we're in our building phase, so we're trying to, spread the word and get things along.
Right.
All right.
Wow.
All right, y'all. Well, I guess, okay. All righty, buddy. I guess we will see you guys next week. All right. So I know. So, Mr. Ford, it's time for us people to go in and to all that applies, get rid of the roster. I know people like to have a team, and as we say, I know we think there is safety in numbers. But guess what?
What?
Numbers, so think about numbers in this aspect. Mm-hmm. We all in Walmart, plenty of numbers, thousands of people, right? In this Costco. And then all of a sudden somebody says, oh my God, fire. Guess what? There's no longer safety in numbers. Because now you have the ability to get trampled.
Yeah.
So you got to think about it in the love stratosphere. When you're calling yourself loving in numbers, when catastrophe shows up or when issues show up, guess what? Now, I might be a little graphic when I say this, but let's just say this.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
You're dealing in the numbers. For some of us, whether you're the man or the woman, there are some situations we can get ourselves in where the numbers might not add up. The months may not add up, or we may find ourselves at the clinic and not know who to contact. So we got to think about these things when we're in these rosters, because these are the things that come out of the rosters. All right on tonight.
I want somebody do a vision board on that. Do a vision board on that right there.
Oh yeah, okay, on that. Okay,
do a vision board on how many numbers you got, how many people you got on your roster, how many vision.
Oh, do a vision board. Tell people that. Okay, yeah, all right.
Do a vision board. Do a vision board on how many people you got to go back and talk to find out if they having symptoms too. How about a vision board for that?
That's a good show right there. I mean, people, because we got some people, like you said, folks are not being honest, but like you said, there are some people that in order for us to, like you said, to cut these ties, like Bruce mentioned. Now you do got to be careful. Sometimes I don't know if I would agree to call up people and make sure they're okay, because that can turn into a chaos. You'd be like this. I can look at them. Can you imagine yourself? Oh, so-and-so, I know that I moved on with my life. Are you okay? Well, you know what? I would need you to see me face-to-face over dinner, and then we can talk about it. I'm just making an example. So some of these things we're going to have to pray for people and move on, and just ask God to cleanse us, because this going back, reaching stuff ain't going to work. I can promise you that.
I know, because going back ain't nothing but a trap. Ask somebody.
They better believe it. That's for sure. Don't go back. Yes.
Ooh, you better run.
Yes. Stay out of the vines. I don't need to be in no vines, buddy. All right. All right, y'all. Well, peace out. And until next week, thanks again for tuning in.
Mm.
Yeah.
Peace.